president, the candidate and the president is consistently citing what is only coming out of the Kremlin, and you know that from a foreign intelligence aspect. And at the same point, he can't stop asking you about Russia. And every time your investigators go talk to someone in his team, like Flynn, hey, are you doing quid pro quo for sanctions? He lies to your agency about it. So now you're saying, okay, on this side, I have constant worry from the administration. Am I a target of the Russian investigation? Oh, you told me I wasn't a target. Don't put that in the memo. Lester Holt, by the way, Russia was on my mind. And hey, Russian guys are in the Oval Office. I got rid of Comey. You don't got to worry about it.
I think Seth Meyers said it best when he pointed out the fact that Trump ate fucking paper. He ate paper. And that's not even like a thing that we can remember happened. When a president eating paper is forgettable, that president is up to some wild shit. Anyways, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. It is 11 p.m. here at the Easy Reapers Fish Room. I am your host, Fake TV's Sean Morris, also known as the Actual Lost Begotten. And today, we're just going to talk about things that seem to make sense. They've been making sense to us on the channel, the viewers here, for quite some time. And it seems like maybe, just maybe, people might en masse start actually making sense of these things very soon. One of these things that we've talked about here on the channel very extensively is the idea that this was not about Hillary Clinton's emails. This was not about Russian adoption. This wasn't even about the sanctions, really. It wasn't about a Trump Tower. And it wasn't about just the memes on Facebook. This was about a presidential campaign merging with a psychological warfare campaign of a foreign power. This was a presidential campaign, a presidential candidate quoting word for word articles of propaganda from Russia. So the collusion, as you say, was actually conspiracy to aid and abet terrorism. Because that's what it was. Russia's attack on our country was essentially, by definition, a terrorist attack. What the hell is the whole point of terrorism to begin with? You know? Did you ever ask yourself, after 9/11, what the fuck could they have possibly been hoping to accomplish? Well, if you're considering some random fucking guys out in the mountains, that would make a whole lot of sense. Like, not only how could they have pulled this off, but how does this even benefit them? Like, was the World Trade Organization coming after their fucking goats? Seriously. What is there, some kind of like tax dispute over fucking tapestries, scarves, those pretty little daggers? Oh yeah. You know how some random fucking people in the damn mountains just happen upon a target like the greatest enemy of Russia and the greatest enemy of Trump, coincidentally enough. Oh, coincidentally enough. But I mean, me and Larry the Cable Guy and every fucking redneck and every fucking military person and every smart person and every stupid person all at once had the same thought. What the fuck? Why them? Why? Oh, because he's a Saudi. What? Prince? Oh, wait, they're all kind of Saudi princes, but they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that the company that makes Saudi Arabia wealthy, you know, the oil exploration company and construction company that basically makes the Saudi bin Laden dynasty wealthy and powerful, that would be the Saudi bin Laden construction group. That's what it's called. It's named after the royal family of Saudi Arabia, which is the Saudi bin Laden royal family. And not only is Osama bin Laden's brother not a criminal, he's kind of like a Westernophile. Like, what's that fucking comedian's name? Tells this wild story. I don't know if it's true or anything, but fuck. I can just picture that shit being true, and that's not the first time I've heard that. That Osama bin Laden's brother likes Porsches and shit. And, like, listens to rap. This would be the same brother that basically we had intel that he was at, bin Laden himself, Osama, was at the wedding, and we took no action, which I always found very interesting. But yeah, 9/11 happened. And just about everybody thought, why? You know, and we had conveniently we had Mr. W telling us they hate us for our freedom. Okay. Well, bomb them. Can't have people fucking hating our freedom. We like our freedom. Bomb the shit out of those guys. Okay. Problem solved. Everybody just pretended like the fucking mystery was answered. They hate us because of our freedom. Okay. Okay. Freedom, free trade, World Trade Organization. Freedom. It all makes sense. Good. No. Sorry. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Hatred is, well, it's complicated and it's simple at the same time. It's rooted and it's transferable. But the thing about hatred is, except for as the result of a transferable process, hatred does not occur globally. That is to say, people don't generally hate anyone that they have no interaction with. Which is why we were all kind of still. And that's what made 9/11 conspiracy theory, for those who didn't just watch it on that day and say, no, this is not adding up what they're saying about this, like I was. what made people continue to question and research was this very concept of this doesn't make fucking. They hate our freedom. What kind of bullshit is that? What really happened there? What excuse now, especially as ingrained in anti Western propaganda as we really had become without realizing it, what excuse now does America have for bombing brown people? That's that's the default fucking question that we were taught to raise because we were cool. We weren't squares like our parents and shit. We were propagandized. We were brainwashed against our own government. And we reacted accordingly. All too predictably. Like sheep. And you know what they say about sheep? Delightful with some mint jelly. Anyways. So another one of them things that just didn't make any fucking sense. But we all kind of get told what we got told. And it just happened. We're still in that reality where this is the reality we have to deal with. Nobody can really question it. And it's not really the same level of event, per se. But it certainly makes just as little fucking sense. You see, Donald Trump had his little issues with Michael Cohen. He had Don McGahn quit on him because he wouldn't fucking listen. And there's that Dewey McJewson. Yeah, that guy. Speaking of which, I have a Nazi joke. Like a Volkswagen joke. I'll tell that later, remind me. There's like a non-offensive and an offensive version of it. So that's good. It's always good to have two versions of the same joke. But I think it's hilarious. Anyway. But Juszkiewicz, what his name? Levowitz? Mauskowitz? Mauskowitz. I think he quit and then he came back, didn't he? Dooley. D-U-E-L. Do. That's like dually, like a pickup truck with four wheels in the back. Not dually, like it's a dually. I don't know why that's fucking cracking me up. That should be the name of something, shouldn't it? Duly noted. That should be the name of a truck exhaust shop. Yes, a truck. I'm writing that shit down. Truck and commercial vehicle exhaust. Brilliant idea, Jordan. Jared. Jamal. Truck and what? Yeah, exhaust. My my hands RAM was purged and I needed to like reload from hard drive or so. I don't know. Sometimes you just send it to the hand and the hand understand. Rubber band man, wild as the Taliban. 9 in my right, 45 in my other hand. What? This is the sign for buds. This is the sign for cramps. Wait. I mean, let me actually do it right. Bloods. Crips. Bloods. Crips. Things you have to know to survive in the ghetto. Know when to zip up your jacket. You know? Oh, I wore the wrong t-shirt today. Remember the Latin Kings and the Black Disciples had different fucking signs. I used to know those too. But like, since then there's been like all these different offshoot gangs and I don't understand none of that shit. So this is probably like, you know, if any modern gangster was to fucking see that shit, they'd probably, if they were old enough, they'd laugh. Otherwise, they'd be like, what the fuck is this cracker doing? But the Lost Begotten is not condoning any sort of gang activity. Just making a mockery of myself and the failures of society that I had to experience to learn how to fix it. One of those was living in Kempwood Village. And you know, the funniest part about this is that kid Davey that I hung out with, I never knew he was Scarface's little cousin until like 5 years later. You hung out with Davey? I'm like, yeah, little kind of chubby kid. Like to do this. Me and him used to play fucking Ninja Turtles and X-Men on the Super Nintendo. Oh, I didn't have a Super Nintendo. Anyway. So we're talking about Trump's lawyers. Trump's fucking lawyers. Sorry. I get distracted. By the ghetto. Trump's lawyers were in there flashing blood and Crip signs at each other. And, John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson just came in and fucking shot them all. No. Wrong movie. Where am I? Oh yeah, YouTube. See, I would find that entertaining as hell. Oi, oi, oi. What's up, James? Long time no see, sir. Good to see you. Anyways. So, all Trump's lawyers went to Burger King and got themselves a Royale with cheese. No. No, I mean, they fucking dropped like flies, didn't they? Like, there's been lots of little lawyers that we didn't even hear about. And, like, the lead counsels have fucking fallen. And, you know, like, once Cohen went, And once Don McGahn fucking went, everybody was thinking, who's he going to pick next? What no name, unheard of, low-life scumbag who could never possibly miss his career when he ruins it by taking the job of defending Trump? Because everybody knows he's fucking guilty. Come on. You're either paid to lie that he isn't, or you fucking know that he's guilty, or you're a moron who shouldn't be listened to in the first place. Like, I just refuse to believe that anybody's doing anything but playing along with a narrative that's kind of slowly breaking in the morons as to what the actual fucking picture is here. Everybody knew he was quoting Russian propaganda. He was part of Russian psychological warfare against this fucking country. He's not just a Russian agent, he's a Russian weapon, for fuck's sake. And a goddamn powerful one, considering how many lives he's cost already. And apparently, all you need to do to reload him is, cheeseburgers and KFC. Fuck. And who's going to defend this motherfucker? What low-profile, nobody, unheard of lawyer, maybe from a good school, but still unheard of, low life, somebody that just did not have a career to risk? Certainly nobody with a practice that he could risk disgracing, What nobody low-life lawyer would take the lead of Donald Trump's criminal defense? What unheard of nobody would come to his aid? Who could he possibly pay enough money to humiliate themselves? Rudy Giuliani. Oh wait, we have a problem here. That makes as much sense as those fucking goat herders flying planes at the buildings. None whatsoever. Oh, what? Because they're both from the same city, New York. They're friends. What are they, blow buddies? How fucking good of friends can they be? For Giuliani to just volunteer to go down with this fucking ship? Are you kidding me? Think about what that decision represents. Think about how little fucking practical sense that makes on Giuliani's part. If he doesn't have something serious to hide. Anyway, so how you gents doing? Mr. Conway, Mr. James, the River Tanakh in winter? Other people are going to get jealous because I don't make fun of their name as much. I can't fuck with Strider. He was trained by the elves. And Conway, he's so drunk half the time he wouldn't care. Isn't that something, though? what the fuck could Giuliani and Trump be hiding together? You know? Like, essentially, some sort of, you better come bail my ass out or I'm gonna rat you out conversation seems to have happened here. There's no logical reason. There's no level of is one of Trump's kids married to one of Giuliani's kids? No. Do they have some kind of fucking business empire together? No. Which is odd considering their friendship. It's almost like they're intentionally divested. I wonder. What could possibly fucking possess Giuliani to disgrace his law firm by saying, hey, look, there's a ship that's on fire and sinking. Jump on, guys. Right? The weird videos with Giuliani and drag and Trump trying to pick him up. And like I try really hard. You know, I'm a very forgiving person. Very forgiving person. Okay? And I try to even with that kind of shit, I tried to put myself in the moment and see like how was this funny to them at the time, and nope, all I got back was creepy. Like the best this could ever be is a reason for them to never try to do comedy again. Anyways, I invented a way to turn any car into a boat. That's fun. Any car? Yes, any car. Anyways. You know, they say the economy is doing well. But as you know, I've been trying to get into some business arrangements with some real estate people. Okay. And as such, I've been doing a little market research, you know. And a lot like that time when Donald Trump built 2 shithole towers in New York with a bunch of gold trim. I mean, just Obviously, architecturally half-assed. That's all I can say about his buildings. But with a bunch of fucking thin marble and fucking gold on it to make it look expensive, right? It's just Trump in a nutshell. Metaphorically. Back when he built those towers, there was this severe dip in the occupancy rate, or what's called the vacancy rate in New York City. Okay. Which is all those big buildings, all the offices need to be rented out. Okay. And during the savings and loan crisis, particularly the sales of that office property and had tanked because of that vacancy rate. Rents in certain areas had gotten too high. People just basically started moving out of the shit. The economy had gotten sluggish, and this big scandal had kind of collapsed, and the deregulated state of the real estate market that then led later to the 2009 real estate crisis um, began right then, and only was fixed with a band-aid basically at the time. And I don't want to I don't want to try to get too far out of what I'm trying to talk of to remember all the specifics that I used to talk about when talking specifically about this real estate shit. But suffice to say, in '98 and through 2001, it did not make any sense to be expanding into the New York market. Which means when there's a big vacancy rate, just like right now, the new home sales rate over the past 5 months has been at 18 to 16% lower than it was last year. Doesn't sound like a good time to buy new homes, does it? Or to build new homes. Sounds like a good time to be a buyer. Sounds like a good buyer's market, right? Well, that's what we're talking about in New York. It was a buyer's market. It was a renter's market in New York. It was not a developer's market. And Trump in this market built two new, not just one, but two skyscrapers in New York City. Am I fucking mistaken on this or something? Like, I know I do make mistakes on here from time to time, but don't think that's one of them. And sometimes I'll like go and research something, and it seems like I get it wrong by 2 years, or it's 98 or 96 or 96 and or 98 and 2000, and that just makes me keep remembering this weird fucking concept of having time thrown off by 2 years. But you know, we're in the timeline that we're in, regardless of whatever fucking crazy shit I remember. So it's like, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong about some shit, but I've looked this up a couple times just to make sure. And I think it was in 98 and 99 he started those buildings, and in 2000 and early 2001 he finished those buildings. A rush job for some 30, 40-story buildings, I would think, you know? But they say the economy's doing good now, right? Is it? You see, an old economist would wonder what the fuck you were talking about. Because the number one indicator of the actual health of the economy before that savings and loan collapse, crisis, excuse me, and the credit default swap collapse, the main indicator of economic health, especially in this country, was the housing market. Now, people changing their mind and defaulting on a down payment is at between 18, I think, 22 by one indicator on the low income side, 18 or 16 in the middle income side, and then 11% on the luxury home side. Okay. New home sales down by 18%. That's offset a little bit by the 40 to 49%, depending on what area in California, new home sales decline. Which you would think maybe is because of the fires and the drought, but wouldn't they be needing to build more homes after homes burnt down? Just saying. Hurricane Katrina was a hell of a boom for construction. This is a note card I made for one of my meetings. Land costs are rising. Labor costs are rising. Materials costs are rising. Sales are declining. The main market that nobody's addressing is low-income housing. Nobody really knows how to effectively provide low-income housing. And the reason why is because this conflicts with the needs of ecological innovation. You see, every time some snobby, dumbass architect or engineer who went to college because their fucking parents sent them this way and that way to go learn, people who've never had what's real jobs. Yeah, real jobs. People have never actually lived on their own in any real sense. Modern houses are overpriced, over-designed, either offer no privacy or are really fragile looking, or they've been designed with someone who clearly has no children or life experience in general. So naturally, Mr. Conway and I, he already knows the plan I've been making. He's been of some assistance with. solves those fucking problems. Yep, see, land. Yep, we can get cheaper land. Labor. Yep, I have a definite plan to reduce labor, including to lower labor prices by training people, by introducing new workers, younger fucking workers, letting the old dick contractors do their professional thing and hire young and experienced people and weed out the ones with bad work ethics and train them properly from the ground up, you know? But in doing so, you save a lot of money because you're not sitting there hiring a bunch of master carpenters. You're hiring a lot more on the helper side. So that's how you reduce labor. And then at the same time, quality of service increase because everything gets checked. Nothing gets, you know, out the door piece by piece. So it's done by the person who makes it, then it's checked by the receiving clerk basically. Then it's checked again by the installation contractors. And then materials cost. That is a bit of a problem. And one suggestion I can make to all of my fellow construction and development people: fund a recycling center. That's it. Something easy to get to. Something on a slow speed limit street so that old ladies can get there easily, in and out easily. And go on your social media and try to organize little community groups to spread the word, collect and clean if they want to make a little extra money. Before you talk to the city council, I'd just talk to the local police department about what you can and can't do as far as going and collecting the shit. But then if you happen to know people on the city council, see if you can work with them. Private construction company from a given area could come to be the dominant company in that area and can represent that area and branch out from that area if they effectively take ownership of their village, you know? And like I said, realities become easier than you think. The rules have largely been rewritten in some ways. Well, yeah, they've just been rewritten. Wonder who did that. One of the ways that just could not even be a realistic fruit of imagination 20 years ago is the idea that you can make money off of cleaning up. You make money off of cleaning up the environment, the water supply, the ocean. Because if you clean up the water, you clean up everything. Because water takes everything. It'll take the radiation right out of the sky. And give you a glowing green umbrella or something. But anyways, I had fun practicing my little pitch. This is the updated version. There you go. We get to train carpenters before they start doing meth and lose all their teeth. You should lose your teeth the old-fashioned way, by drinking coffee. Anyway, so who's watching still? How y'all doing, folks? I've been on the fucking war path, designing this new multi-story building. And my parts catalog. Oh, now there's something I'll never show you. Conway will get to see it when it's on the computer one day. But, you know, again, I'm not doing anything that nobody's done. I'm just doing a lot of individually creative things. Oh, and a few things that nobody's done that make it all work together. I did some numbers on my little Tower of Zachary thing. It's got 5 functional floors, one little kind of break room deck, or VIP lounge, whatever you want to call it. And then one 8x8 little, what do you call that, an observation deck? So that's technically 7 stories total. And I've got about half the offices used by my little companies in their development phase, and I've got about half the offices rentable. 7 offices actually rentable, totaling $4,500 a month, and at a cost of $420,000. That means this thing could, if they all get rented out, pay for itself in 7.7 years. And it might be built in the zip code 70777 because building codes, yeah, there are none here. Like literally, as long as I don't like build something the shape of a giant penis, I'm pretty much okay. You might get away with that in France, but no, not here. You can get away with putting like 500 electrical outlets right below a swimming pool, but no giant cocks. I mean, not that I'm for giant cock statues on the side of the road, but I'm just pointing out the disparity in logic. But yeah, so the building system is really already conducive to multi-story buildings. So I was just, why don't I see how many I can stack on top of itself without it looking like it's gonna collapse? That was basically four big stories, one kind of inside of a roof story, one little tiny story, and then one itty bitty little tiny story. And it kind of looks like somebody built a pyramid out of country house parts, which is fucking bitching if you ask me. I can't show it. I'm sorry. It's got it's got logos and shit on it. I would have to cover them up. But otherwise, it's a pretty non-detailed drawing. Yeah. It's got two balconies in the front. It's got a deck on both sides, 24 by 8 feet each. All of the balconies and the decks. And I found that in the little central boxing structure, which is essentially like I was already applying sort of a skyscraper technology to civilian housing. Okay. That is basically equipping every house with a center pillar or two or four. Okay. So either a center pillar or a center boxed system. But there again, I'm just like, why not try to stack it up? Try to make it taller and see how efficient I can use land space and all without having to actually make a steel superstructure. In fact, we might actually test out um, like combining steel and wood on the central structure. Because what I want to test is whether or not I can take a one story and then later turn it into a two story or maybe a three story. But won't be long now. I'm just like, just go and shut the fuck up and just wait for it to happen, Sean. Dumbass. Duly noted. Yeah, duly noted. That's just such a great, goofy and gimmick name for a fucking exhaust company. You know, like, dude, you probably don't live in an area like mine. There are few like it, where you have six-wheeled pickup trucks without a scratch on them. Oh yes. People drive turbo diesel fucking 5.8 and up to 7.2 liter displacement fucking trucks. Yeah, Cummins turbo diesel, 7.2 fucking liters. F350. Dually. And half the time they're not even pulling nothing. And I see some of them, I see the same trucks every day and never pulling a damn thing. But I tell you what, they keep the fucking exhaust shops busy around here. They all got pipes. They all like their big fucking mufflers and their big brrr. Duly noted. There's a market. I don't like the market, but there's a fucking market. Bingo, that's enough. Anyways. It's the same there with the trucks, Mr. Conway? Boy, I do like that new Honda Ridgeline, man. Oh, that fucker is pretty. kind of wish they'd come out with a just a two-door long bed version of it though, because I don't need the fucking extra cab capacity. I just need the flat bed. I'm already gonna have to have shit hanging out the end of it. I know it, because I can't just use 8-foot sections. I gotta have at least some 12-foot sections, man. "2019 Unity Murphy bed. That's nice." Alright, I'm just spacing out now. I'm sorry. I'm like, that thing's got kind of windows like I wanted on my 18-wheeler design. Maybe I could order those for parts. I was thinking fucking transit van. Little Mercedes transit vans. The windows on them. And essentially, my 18-wheeler kind of looks like that fucker, but without the engine in the front. That's interesting. So when I build it, I'll probably just get one of those and get the hell out of it. Get a used one, broken one. A used broken one. Well, hopefully it wouldn't be a new broken one. But I'm either going to figure out a way to combine the suspension with the Honda Ridgeline, so it can go to swing arm ability mode, because I'm not putting conventional fucking off-road suspension on anything. I don't like conventional off-road suspension. I just don't. I like four-wheeler style suspension. Four-wheel independent suspension. Multi-link. And I can fabricate that shit if needed. As soon as I get all the right shit. I'll probably fabricate the A-arms and then just kind of source the lower arms. Anyways. Fuck is this video supposed to be about? It's not really a video, it's a live stream hangout. But nobody's chatting. Everybody's tired. Is everybody tired? Everybody around here is just unusually tired, like today and yesterday. Just fucking dragging ass. I thought it was just me. My wife, my fucking neighbors. Maybe we're getting sick. You're tired because it's 6 a.m. Well, that actually makes sense. Can't have none of that shit. Somebody made a wind-resisting car. I don't know if their design is better or worse than mine, but it's certainly a lot uglier. Anyway. I mean, I'm not even like complimenting myself there. That's some genuinely ugly shit. Wind turbine cars, whimsical homeboats. What the fuck that video's about? It's 27 minutes long, so I'm not watching it. Not now, anyway. It's the kind of shit I'd put on when I was falling asleep. You know, like this channel. I usually get through the point in the first hour. And then the rest of the time we're just kind of hanging out and protesting how bullshit YouTube is. Like this is our equivalent of saying fuck Eddie Murphy's couch, basically. Fuck your couch, YouTube. Fuck your couch. Fuck your bandwidth. We're just gonna sit here and stare at fucking nothing. Oh, the truth about owning cats. There's an original comedian. Why don't you tell me the difference between men and women? Rhino, what's it like to get on an airplane? I hate flying. So yeah, tonight's invention, carboat kit. It's a little complicated, but it works. Would work. Should work. Could work. Might work. Oh, it'll fucking work. Trump hiding details of the Putin meeting. You know? Years of psychological warfare against the U.S., preceded by years of support of terrorism. Preceded by 9/11. Preceded by Muammar Gaddafi. 23 years of Muammar Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi's behind the bombings in Nairobi, Kenya. Muammar Gaddafi sent 6 cruise missiles Or Libyan missiles. You know why they said they were Libyan missiles over and over again? Libyan missiles? As if Gaddafi would have anybody else's missiles? Because they were Russian missiles. You wanna know why? You know how I know that? Because Gaddafi didn't have any fucking missile weapons technology laboratories or fucking development shit. Just fucking no rocketry program whatsoever. Oh, they were North Korean missiles? Oh, how the fuck did North Korea get them there? They're Russia. But wait a minute. Russia supplies North Korea's missiles to begin with. So why bother? Russia had been doing fucking all kinds of business with Libya. For some reason, we're all trying to cooperate in a war on terror. So we're like, yeah, they're North Korean Libyan missiles. Yeah, okay. We tried to play nice. We tried to make peace. We bent the fuck over backwards. And yeah, all the places where terrorism was coming out of the woodwork happened to be all around Russia. And we wound up in all these little bases all over the place where all these terrorists were. And then it was like, the Russians are saying, the Americans have surrounded us. Those terrorists. Oh wait, you were behind those terrorists. It's almost as though you kind of lured us into this position. Who'd have thunk it? Yep, you got Bashar al-Assad supporting terrorism, Russia supporting Bashar al-Assad, Gaddafi supporting terrorism, Russia supporting Gaddafi. Get the Saudis now killing journalists, Russia supporting the Saudis, Trump supporting the Saudis, Russia and the Saudis and Trump and the North Koreans and all the dictators all over the world just having a big fucking clusterfuck party. Fuck everyone fiesta. Ole. But on 9/11, unlike all the other times where where Russia was attacking us and supporting terrorism and attacking us, and just around 9/11, they were the good guys. Too much? Like, this is what most people think. I mean, by think, I mean, don't think at all. But that's what you'd have to think to not stumble on to this whole idea that, it didn't make sense that a bunch of guys from caves fucking attacked us. Sure doesn't make sense that Giuliani is representing Trump. Trump and Silverstein were fucking connected. Trump and Russia are connected. Russia and fucking 9/11 must be connected. Must be connected. All that time before, terrorism. All that time since, terrorism. All that time before, they hated America. All that time since, they've hated America. At what point did they decide they didn't like us? At what point did they decide they did like us? Why were they being friends all of a sudden, then 9/11 happened? And a few more years and we're not friends anymore. Did a cruise missile hit the Pentagon? Do you really think Americans could keep a secret? What ship is it that something like that could happen on that it wouldn't get out? What American ship? Okay, American ship. No KGB officers and shit. Okay, Americans. Being American, for fuck's sake. Gossip is like our hobby, man. I mean, fuck's sake. In fact, it's like an industry here. Oh, it is an industry. I'm surprised, like, scandalous, trifling shit isn't like a commodity on the stock exchange. Scandalous, trifling shit is up 2 points today. You know? So to think that there's no connection between Donald Trump and 9/11 and Russia and 9/11 and Donald Trump and Russia. You got to tell me these things weren't connected before and after. They were connected before and after. Donald Trump hated the World Trade Organization. Russia hated the World Trade Organization. Donald Trump and Russia loved each other. Everybody got along. Donald Trump got along with the Clintons all of a sudden. Russia got along with the Clintons all of a sudden. Everybody got along for just a little while, then the towers fell. Boom. While again, Donald Trump had just built 2 towers for no fucking reason in New York City, when it was economically ill-advisable to do so, to say the least. And then Silverstein, his great friend, probably the liaison power of attorney real estate lawyer that he used to purchase the Trade Center without having his name on him. So basically, Donald Trump made $3.2 billion fucking dollars. Remember when I got this fortune? What fucking day of the week is it? Monday? Oh god, it's Monday, isn't it? We're gonna be running out of money soon. Yay! Seems awfully early in the month. Oh, well, hopefully I'll get fucking money problems solved here shortly. At least be doing something productive with my time. Let's see, where the hell was I? Oh, yeah, here. Floor plans. Okay. Saving that for later. I think I'm done. I just gotta, like, check over it and stare at it for a while and make sure. Anyway. two towers. Like Lord of the Rings, you know? Only this time it was the Trump Towers. Becoming mosques. And fuck all your Islamophobic nonsense. What a mosque is a symbol of a conquered land. That's the context I'm speaking in. That's what it means to Moscow, anyways. That's why the Kremlin is a mosque. But the white man, the Christians, think that's who's going to save them. From Hillary Clinton and the evil Democrat Jews. The fuck? Closest I come to being Jewish is being a quarter Cajun. From the same lines and families as Boudreaux and Thibodeaux and Bodines. If you've got some kind of EAU in your name, chances are we're cousins. Yet, even I was accused of being part of some sort of George Soros conspiracy. For what? For pointing out what Moscow and fascism and just outright stupidity are? And chances are a bunch of conquering Muslim type crazy people, like basically Islamic extremists with armies, aren't going to save white Christianity. Just saying. I mean, stupidity is what stupidity is, and that's fucking stupidity. That doesn't mean I'm trying to save white Christianity. I'm trying to save all cultures. If I'm trying to save white Christianity from anything, I'm trying to save it from itself. Maybe they should focus on a real religion instead of a made-up race. Instead, they've created a race to adopt false religion. Anyways, New York Times, Donald Trump discussed pulling the United States out of NATO. Shocker. And in all this talk about him being tough on Russia, I'd like to hear more people correcting with the actual account of how this shit played out. They damn near had to force him to implement the sanctions. The talk of impeachment started when the year mark came around, when it had been a year since Congress had passed the fucking sanctions, and he still hadn't fucking implemented them yet. Then he finally did it when, or not a year, when the expiration period, like the deadline for them to be implemented, had passed. And he kept making shit public and doing them a favor and telling them where to hide their fucking money, basically. Where to hide money from. Oh, and by telling them that, that's just as good as doing it. No, it's not. Well, then they can't keep their money there. Oh, yeah, they can just keep it somewhere else. Why don't you just send them a little fucking fruit basket while you're at it? Because that was definitely a gift to the Russians. And it's like he's been coordinating this appeasement with them this whole time. And you know what it says that this inquiry, this counterintelligence inquiry, you know why that gets me excited? The fact that they opened up a counterintel inquiry on the obstruction on the sitting president. That means that they gave the FISA court jurisdiction over Trump. Anybody else know what that means? Russia, can you hear me? Send out some more trolls. The media is lying, and all my whining isn't consuming enough souls. And the Mueller team is just like, oh, Russia, souls. And he's got a lovely singing voice. So. Oh yeah. That means that all these communications, all this behind the scenes coordinations that I've been pointing out as it happened over the years, I can't fucking recount it all. It's just been too much shit. It means that there's at least the possibility that they've got it all on tape and shit. That they've been recording. That they've been monitoring his communications. Every time he talks to anybody that has anything to do with Russia. And like I said, there's been some coordination behind the scenes between, like, Mnuchin and certainly the other members of the Trump family. And a lot of it has been to obstruct the inquiry itself. And to obstruct basically our leverage our power, our sanction ability against Russia, working as an agent of Russia from the fucking Oval Office is what he's been doing. But the fact that they opened up that counterintelligence inquiry means that there's no limit to what they have on him now. Means everything that he's been doing since then, they know about. And you can damn sure as hell bet that the FISA court, after all the fucking attacks he's made against the FISA court, was just like, oh, you'd like us to approve, oh, here you go, here, you know what, here, I'm just gonna make a stamp of my signature, and you just fucking do it on whatever the hell you want to. Get that impeach that motherfucker. Oh, technically mother raper. Read the account and the denials. Oh, that shit happened. That shit happened. Anyways. So I wonder if Giuliani thought maybe he was clean enough to be contacting the Russians on Trump's behalf. I wonder how much of the Giuliani communications they have. You know, I wonder how often Trump has gotten egotistical with the Russians and threatened to expose what they did regarding 9/11. Think about all the interesting, juicy possibilities that might now be recorded for posterity. If I were Trump or Giuliani, I'd be really nervous. Oh, I'd just be pissing myself, especially because I think Jeanine Pirro was actually trying to suggest that he resign. I think she was trying to communicate some message to him that it's best if you leave the White House, she kept saying. She kept saying, you really need to leave the White House. Take a vacation. She kept, vacation, yeah. But the way she kept saying, leave the White House. I mean, the whole interview was really friendly and creeptastic and all, but Jeanine Pirro is just the type of cunt to completely fake everything she puts on TV while still maintaining doubt in her mind, and could have at that point actually turned on Trump during the interview without showing it at all, but like basically been feeding and fishing him and making him feel comfortable to get him to still be defensive and squirmy and weird. And you know, a shill may be a shill, but a cunt's a cunt. And that cunt knew what the fuck was up with him. You really need to leave the White House, Mr. President. Oh. Run, bitch, run. The police are coming. They gonna kill your ass and sprinkle some crack on you. And you know this whole thing with the wall, this whole thing with the fucking emergency powers and shit. You know what that is? That's the Alex Jones shit. Okay, everything Alex Jones said, he and his cohorts are secretly guilty of. That includes trying to seize power and never surrender it. He knows the walls are closing in around him, and he wants to use the wall as an excuse to declare an emergency, and then use that emergency to barricade himself in the fucking White House. He might try to fucking declare martial law. You never know, man. The motherfucker is crazy. He's too dangerous to be allowed to let live. I mean, when are people going to realize that that's the real world? That's what it requires. Like when you treat a cult leader like Jesus and Jesus like a cult leader, you've done fucked up. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And when somebody becomes a cult leader, that's what Trump is. He's a fucking cult of personality. A cult of personality disorder, but still, a cult of personality nonetheless. Letting someone like that live is just asking for a fucking civil war. It's asking for a jailbreak. It's asking for a continued fucking resistance to the law. And it's saying that basically loyalty to this country, it's optional as long as you can get away with it on a technical basis. You know? How would that shit fly in Ireland? How would that shit fly in Australia? How would that shit fly in Russia? How would you feel, motherfuckers? How would you feel in Russia if Saakashvili was your president? You know? Go fuck yourself, right? Yeah, but that's nonsense. You can't have a martyr when somebody doesn't have a cause. You see, a traitor doesn't have an actual cause. So there's no martyring a traitor. The cause just becomes disjointed. You cut the head off the chicken, the fucking rest becomes meat. There is far more greater risk of emboldening someone to do the same, only better, if you allow a foreign dictator, a foreign installed, a traitor, a foreign installed puppet to become a cult leader politically. Now, when somebody asks an actual coherent ideology, That's when the martyrdom becomes an issue. But the thing is, Trump's got no ideology. He's got no core principle. He, doesn't even have a spine, basically. And neither do any of the Trumpists who've publicly, on the political level, have backed him. And the Trumpists, as far as the Republicans and the Tea Partiers and the fucking different Birchers, I don't know what the fuck, they're all completely disjointed without their dictator. Okay? He's a dictator. They need him to tell them what to think. Without him, on a daily basis, with his fucking bipolar fucking disorder and tweets and shit, telling them exactly what to do and say and feel and think, they'd be fucking lost. They need to seriously have a military processional execution with a fucking slow drum beat and everything. Dum, 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 dum. Those are not the drums you want to hear. Easter basket, anyone? Wah, 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 wah. Why decorated boiled eggs? Because severed heads are tacky. Dun 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 dee dee dee. What do you call a dumb blonde with giant tits? Dee dee dee. Dee titty. Never mind. It was a horrible joke. Horrible joke. Oh, speaking of horrible jokes, the joke. Forgot the joke. So, Volkswagen in recent years, due to intentional deception about their emissions and fuel standards, have been forced to recall and destroy over 20 million automobiles. Who'd have thunk it? The car company Hitler created wound up Jewing everybody. Oh, okay. Sorry. I apologize. That was a bit on the horrible side, but that was fucking hilarious. Of course, the more PC version of that is really the The car company that Hitler created um, wound up being a bad thing. Huh. Did not see that coming. Volkswagen, we need a people's car. I want you to take your car, Mr. Porsche, and completely ruin it. Beetle, I kid. Beetles are a wonderful car. As long as you don't have to drive it, ride in it, work on it, or look at it for too long. No, like seriously, anybody who actually is like, oh, I love the Beetle, and you've never actually fucking ridden in one of those shit boxes. It's like it's like a car for people who went to one of those little theme parks where they have the little like trolley cars that like they have like the little single train track and they just kind of lurch from side to side. And that's what a Volkswagen Beetle's like. Yeah, the van on the other hand, the van is fucking brilliant. Okay, slow as hell, but brilliant. You wouldn't believe how good they can handle too. All right. Well, I don't know why I'm so fucking tired. I think I'm fighting off a virus or something. I feel like a little shadow of fluish coldiness. My head's starting to hurt. So, I guess I'm going to call it a broadcast a little bit early. What is these fucking stupid headlines? These stupid fucking CNN sues President Trump and top White House aides. It's the headline from one of these stupid side uploader channels. It's just got a 30, 40-minute clip of CNN, and it's talking about the New York Times piece. It's not talking about anything CNN sued. What the fuck? Like they just started doing that recently. Are they doing that to try to augment the like they did that? They've been doing that since old boy came, and it didn't work with the Republicans sitting there claiming that there was anti-Republican bias. Like So now they got the side uploaders focusing on anti-Trump nonsense to be intentionally hyperbolic, one of the two, depending on whether you want to put cereal in it. Um, so they're being intentionally hyperbolic and dishonest and deceitful and clickbaity to, again, give that evidence readout that they can point to and say, well, here, blah, 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 blah. Don't look at the time period. Anyways. So I guess I will go ahead and call it a broadcast so I can get back to work. While all this very interesting stuff is happening, it's still important for me to focus on getting out of this moldy ass house and actually doing something productive with my time, as opposed to sitting here whining and complaining on YouTube about being suppressed. Well, I'm suppressed. Why doesn't YouTube let me have viewers? Oh yeah, because the one thing that makes my broadcast different from any other broadcast, we point out what Russia does. It's almost as though Google has been colluding with Russia. Oh. No, I think we've pretty much painted out like years and years of clear evidence that that's the case. And as far as YouTube is concerned, their entire existence has been centered around the agenda of Russian psychological warfare. Understanding how that is the case is the key to understanding the scale and scope of Russian psychological warfare. If you don't see it, it's because you don't understand. So, anyways, hopefully some wonderful United States intelligence people have finally been learning and catching on and will therefore start interrogating drivers and aides and door people of Larry Silverstein from back in the day, and really seriously take a look at Felix Sater. Because not only is Trump a Russian agent, which, now people finally know. I'm glad. And they're it's just like a possibility at this point, I'm aware. But people are like, oh yeah, he's kind of been acting like that this whole time. Yeah, he has. But he is the mastermind of 9/11, and he needs to pay for that. He's the biggest traitor the world has ever known. And that's what history needs to show, lest his actions be repeated. Thanks for watching, everybody. Y'all take it easy, don't take it all. Thanks for clicking the like button. And thanks for hanging out and chatting. Make sure you're subscribed.